You get 0% rejected from jobs if you apply to 0 jobs. 0 rejection. Safety. And so the way that I did that in my mind was like I was going to take all those feelings of I'm a piece of shit, and then I said, I'm better. Oh, I'm going to be a monk. I'm going to give up. It's not incel. It's like voluntary celibacy. So I was like a vol cell.
It's Randar from the Discord.
Okay.
He asks, could you ask Dr. K how he met his wife if he struggled with it, or maybe it was arranged? That would be interesting to hear.
Yeah, so it was not arranged. I'm happy to say. So I met my wife at summer camp. And so like I had some interesting armor, so I really lucked out. So I met my wife at summer camp. So I went to India for like 3 months, and towards the end of that time I came back to the US, and I went to this like Hindu summer camp basically, where I was going to teach a lot because I had learned all this stuff in the old country. So and I decided to become a monk. And so the cool thing so then I met her, and she was a counselor at the camp. I was a counselor at the camp. I was teaching all of this wonderful knowledge I had about meditation that I had learned in these ashrams in these remote areas of India. And everyone was like, oh, right? Because they're a bunch of like second generation Indian kids at this camp. And so the interesting thing is I think I kind of got lucky because in my mind, like I had taken a relationship off of the table. And so what I struggled with is like I thought, like I cared about what women thought when I talked to them. So I had trouble being me because I tried to be someone who was not me to get them to like me more. So there's like real Alok, and then there's the Alok, and real Alok doesn't think that women can like him. So he tries to be fake Alok. And it turns out that being fake Alok is unattractive to women, just like most of the time being a fake person is. Like people are attracted to like authenticity. And I was super stressed out because I was trying to maintain this persona that I was not. I was just like faking it, right? And so the funny thing that happened is like when I decided to become a monk, I kind of let that go because I was like, okay, there's no way I'm going to date anyone anyway. I'm going to become a monk, right? Because that was the way that I protected myself from the rejection. Because I protected myself because if there's no chance that I can, it's like I don't have to feel like a reject if I'm not willing to date them in the first place. You get rejected you protect yourself from rejection 100% when you don't apply. You get 0% rejected from jobs if you apply to 0 jobs. 0 rejection. Safety. And so the way that I did that in my mind was like I was going to take all those feelings of I'm a piece of shit, and then I said, I'm better. Oh, I'm going to be a monk. I'm going to give up. It's not incel. It's like voluntary celibacy. So I was like a vol cell. And so the interesting thing is that it turned out that like when I just was myself, that sometimes women find that attractive. And then I got really, really confused. Because as I started dating her, like women that I was interested in for 2 years, like at college, started to like hit me up. Whereas just like Hayden, a lot of my communications felt one way. So unless I reached out to them, they didn't reach out to me. And then suddenly, like, a year after I'm dating someone, I run into someone, and then they're like, and then I got confused by that for a little while, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. And then I got busy and tried to, put my life together and stuff, so I didn't have time for that shit. And then, like, the funny thing is that even throughout, like, med school and stuff, like, that kept happening. Like, and I just didn't care. So, like, by the time... So, I was older than many people when I started med school. So, like, the average age of people coming to med school is, like, 23, 24. I was 27. I got married after my first year of med school. Or, like, during my first year of med school. And then, like, the really crazy thing is, like so then I really didn't care. So, like, once I got engaged, I was like, I went into med school and really didn't care. Like, there's no possibility that I'm going to date anyone there because I'm engaged. So I was like, okay, that's figured out. I sorted through that. And so I just started to be myself. And then suddenly, like, nurses started hitting on me. And I was like, is this just because I'm going to be a doctor one day? Because that's what you would think, right? But it turns out that that's not the case. I mean, you guys can talk to doctors who are incels, and they'll tell you that they thought that once they become a doctor, the women are just going to be like trying to bash down their door and date them. And it turns out, unfortunately, it's not true. And this is where, like, I think people have a lot of, like, incorrect perceptions about what women are looking for. Because once you have friends who are doctors and incels, and becoming a doctor doesn't change their incel status, then you start to question, what is it that makes an incel? So I think at the end of the day, you know, I met her and kind of lucked out because my ego had sort of protected me from, in a weird way, had protected me from like that whole complex of thinking. And that's why I believe that, like, if we listen to Hayden, Hayden isn't actually cursed in life. Like, what's holding him back is in here. It's not out there. And the reason I believe that is because I realize, like, the difference between me not being able to get a girl to date me and then, like, suddenly falling into a girlfriend is like, has nothing to do with, like, my physical attractiveness or my ethnicity. And it has everything to do with, like, what my thoughts are and how I carry myself. Because how I carry myself relates to my thoughts. And you guys, like, get what I was saying when, like Hayden looked less pathetic, right? You guys with me? Anyway, does that answer your question, Moses? Or other dude?
Yeah.
Do you have follow-ups?
I think so. Not really. That's a pretty good answer.
All right, man.
We should all go to summer camp then to cure our inceldom.
Yeah, so I mean, I know you jest about that, but I do think it's worthwhile to, like, engage in activities where you're not looking for a date. Right? Like, that's people say that, but, like, as funny as that is, yeah, like, you should go out and you should just do stuff for the sake of doing stuff and be yourself. And then,
oh yeah,
you know, don't have your head up your ass, and then you will be surprised. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
like not
HealthyGamer summer
going
camp,
in with an
absolutely,
objective
baby.
is good. Yeah.
Did the retreat last year. Let's do summer camp. Let's do it.
Hell yeah.